Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. We never skip a drink day.
Budrich wants to know how the doctor's doing.
That ended.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
Oh, to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. It's that time of week where we are on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. It helps us tremendously and it doesn't cost you anything. As always, we are sponsored by Hard Hide Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey and Chilton County Peach Whiskey. Kevin, I want to remind people, go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Sign up, support the show. It's amazing. We need your support so we can keep doing what we're doing. Pay Thomas the meats and cheeses, keep the lights on. We appreciate you. And we give you more content. Any other Saints podcast, we don't want to, not gonna knock anybody, but we give you more content than any other Saints podcast. We're giving you 5-6 shows a week. We're giving you breaking news content and $10 a month. And we're running a special. You can get it cheaper. If you sign up annually, you get 20% off. All right, Kevin. So me and you were thinking of topics, and we've done some mock drafts. We've done some free agency previews. So, but this one, I wanted to celebrate Drew Brees getting in the Hall of Fame. And I didn't just want to do it as like your favorite Drew Brees memory, because then it goes to the Super Bowl and in specific games that everybody can remember. I wanted to do what Saints season, not the Super Bowl, because that makes it too easy. What Drew Brees season was your favorite that wasn't 2009? And it's for me, when I sent you this topic, it gets challenging because there's so many painful endings to these years. The really fun seasons all had painful endings. And it was hard to pick one because it's kind of hard. It was challenging for me to like detangle the endings from the regular season that was so fun, right? Like 2018, we all think of Vinovich and it's horrible and it sort of cast a pall over everything. But that 2018 season, my God, it was fun as hell. Like we went into it like
But I tell you what, don't step on anything. Like, why don't you give your
okay? So here's my answer. So I tried to disentangle them, and my answer is 2010. And I know that 2010 people automatically, fans automatically go to the Beastquake, and they're like, it was the Beastquake, it was terrible, and that ending sucked. But for me personally, like the Beastquake ending, like I was just like, and I remember this vividly. My wife was like, "You don't seem mad or upset at all." I'm like, not really. Saints won the Super Bowl. Then they won 11 games. It's cool. We'll go to dinner and then I'll watch the Saints Super Bowl DVD when we get back. It'll be
right.
fun.
And it's right. And it's like they put up 36 points on, like, I get it. Seattle was fucking 7-9.
Yeah.
I get it. But New Orleans put up 36 on the road. Drew threw over 400 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, he threw 60 damn times, but over 400 yards. He only got sacked once. Like, they were technically in the game at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it sucks. It's one of those things, like, it sucks, but you can get over it. Like, it's easy to get over. It was easy to get over in the moment. And historically, history has certainly made it fairly easy to get over too.
Yeah, and here's the thing that made that season, I loved it so much, is the Saints were the defending champion. So we had never experienced that as Saints fans, where like you go on the road and you're like, oh shit, the world champion is coming here today. If we win this game, it'll be the highlight of our season, right?
Right.
And the Saints went 6-2 in one-score games. And all throughout that year, the only team that was like really bad that like got them on the road and like we beat the champions. It made our year. Was weirdly the Browns got them. But like they went to San Francisco, last second field goal, 25-22 to beat the 49ers. They beat the Minnesota 14-9 in a revenge game that Minnesota's like, we got to get this.
Yeah, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
It was the season opener.
So like they did that. They lost to Atlanta 27-24, which was a little, a heartbreak and cost them home field and all that. But they also, like, probably my two most favorite games of that season were back-to-back weeks. They play on Thanksgiving for the first time, maybe ever, I can remember, of like the Saints playing on a Thanksgiving in my life. They went to Dallas, and the Jinx Palm game where Malcolm Jenkins makes that great play, but also they had to drive down at the end of the game and get a touchdown. And I remember watching it, and like people in my house were like, "Oh, it's the same old Saints." And I got mad at them. I was like, "What do you mean fucking same old Saints? We're the fucking world champions. Like, what are you talking about? Same old Saints. Drew Brees is going to take this ball and walk down the Cowboys and win this game because they're the Cowboys and we're the Saints, man. We got Drew Brees, and he did it. And then the next week, Cincinnati with Carson Palmer makes like a crazy comeback. Drew Brees walks the Bengals down, and the Saints score with 33 seconds left and beat the Bengals. Now I know you're like, it's the Bengals. Who cares? But it was amazing. He throws a pass to Marcus Colston with 31 seconds left. And it just, that entire season, it had the feeling, to put it into wrestling terms, Kevin, of like the Saints were the champion and they were fighting these underdogs every week, and the crowd would get fired up thinking, oh, the underdog's going to beat Hulk Hogan. The underdog's going to beat the champion, whoever. And like the Saints would come out on top almost every single time. And it was such an enjoyable year because you had the Super Bowl glow. And I don't know how you feel, but I'm not like Eagles or Patriots or whatever, these fan bases that feel like entitled. They're like, we got a title. We need 2, 3, 4 times. I was just like, the Saints, they won a Super Bowl. I've dreamed about it my whole life. I saw it. Like this year, it doesn't matter what happens. I just want them to be good and defend the title with honor. And they did it. And it was great. And yeah, Beastquake was terrible to end it, but whatever. I loved 2010. And the thing that's weird is 2010, Drew Brees, like if you look at his stats, 33 touchdowns, 22 interceptions, like he wasn't like at his best, but the Saints couldn't really run the ball. They had like Julius Jones at running back smoking cigarettes. They ran out of running backs. Reggie Bush got hurt. And like it was all on Drew Brees to make it happen. And it wasn't his best year. But man, when he had to be great, he was great consistently. And I like 2010, it has a warm spot in my heart, and it always will.
Yeah. So the Dallas game, it like that back-to-back you're talking about, it's peculiar to look at. Drew has a pedestrian game for him. His completion percentage is 59%. I think that was his lowest. No, sorry, the season finale was his lowest of the year, 57.9. But he completes 59% of his passes, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, but throws for 352 yards, and his QB rating is 86.7. The following week, 24 of 29, 82.8 yards, 82.8 completion percentage. That's his season high. 313 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Mm-hmm. Yards per attempt, 10.8. QB rating 120.3. That was his highest. That was his highest that year. So it's just like, it's amazing seeing how the team could win when he was even having like an off day for him. Yeah. And then the following week he comes in and he's just lights out, and they still get a win. And again, they were both 1-score games.
Yep.
And like the Saints had to score 30, at least 30 each time.
I mean, the Saints' leading rusher in 2010 was Chris Ivory. He had 716 yards, and he was injured in the playoff game. Their second leading rusher was Pierre Thomas, also injured, 269 yards. So basically, Drew went into that playoff game. Liddell Betts, Julius Jones were the running backs. Like it was all on Drew that year. Like they had no running game, and they had games they didn't even pretend. They were just like, yeah, we're Drew, throw it 50 times. Like, good luck, buddy. He threw the ball in 2010. He threw the ball over 150 more times than he did in 2009, because in 2009, the Saints rushing game was top 10. If you want to go by efficiency, it was top 5. And they just couldn't run the ball in 2010 at all. Like, hey, because that's the thing, Kevin. Like, just because you do one, like you're a championship team that one year, like it doesn't just go on forever, right? Things change, injuries, all kinds of stuff. But I love 2010 is my favorite. What was your year that you Drew Brees year that you loved?
Yeah, so I pulled up, like earlier today, I pulled up a bunch of seasons where, I looked at every single 5,000 yard season.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at I ended up looking at them all, but I really was keying in on the 5,000 yard seasons. And there were, some of those seasons the team went 7-9, 8-8. There was only one time I think that they made the playoffs where he went over 5,000 yards, which is crazy to think about, but is what it is. I ended up not going with one of those. I didn't even go with one of the ones where he hit 4,000 yards.
Oh, wow.
I went, hang on, I want to make sure I've got this one opened here. I picked, and the reason I had to cut you off earlier is because you were going to bogart my season.
Okay, there you go. Sorry about that.
So I picked the 2018 season.
Yeah.
And I get it. Ends an absolute.
It's hard to disentangle.
It ends in absolute heartbreak. I get it. I believe I get it. I get it. I get it. But it's another Pro Bowl season, second team All Pro, second place again in the MVP vote.
Yeah.
That's the perpetual story of Drew Brees' life.
And also too, with 2018, I mean, there's never confirmed, but it's rumored like something happened to him on that Thursday game. I think it was Thanksgiving Day game against Atlanta. The Saints won 31-17. And like you look at his stats after that game,
yeah,
and he was never quite because like up until that Atlanta game, it was him and it was Mahomes. And you could kind of argue Drew because he was ridiculously great until that game.
Right. And then it's like they sat him for the final game, which was in essence, I think they sat him because it wouldn't have mattered.
No, yeah, it didn't matter.
But it was a home game. It's like you kind of wonder if he'd have played and they'd have won, because they ended up losing to Carolina. If he'd have played and they'd have won and he would have had a good statistical game, could that have helped him with the MVP? Who knows? But he played 15 games and came up only 8 yards short of 4,000 yards in 15 games.
Yeah.
There ain't a lot of people that can do that.
Yeah.
Play 15 games and nearly put up 4,000 yards.
And I mean, that stretch where they played they went against the Rams. They were 6-1. I think the Rams were 6-1 or whatever. Also, they played, or the Rams might have been 7-0. They played the Rams. They won 45-35. He threw for 346. Then they
4 TDs, no picks.
They play Cincinnati.
Yep.
Cincinnati's a dumpster fire. They win 51-14.
Right.
He only threw for 265, but the Saints, they ran for 244, right? And then they play Philadelphia. He throws for 373.
363.
363. And those games, like, because we're talking about, a favorite Drew Brees. I mean, I remember the feeling of those games, Kevin, where you were just like, Drew Brees is operating at this ridiculous level, and we have a defense, and like we're the best team. Like I think I think even you might, or maybe you or Andrew talked about on the podcast. You're like, I don't know if the Saints are going to win the Super Bowl because we got a half a year left to go. And you can't predict, but you're just like, it's not even a debate what team is the best team and who's the best quarterback. It's the Saints and it's Drew Brees. It wasn't even a question. And if you were arguing it, you were just arguing it to be stupid and to argue for argue's sake.
So let me so the other thing about the 2018 season, this was his career highest in quarterback rating, 115.7.
Mm-hmm.
His career high in success rate, passing success rate, 57.3. Career high in completion percentage, 74.4.
Mm-hmm.
The following year, he had 74.3, but he only played in 11 games.
Yeah.
Also, and again, I've got it pulled up, and it's like he had 10 games with a quarterback rating over 100. That 3-game stretch where they beat the Rams, where they beat the Rams and then pantsed the Bengals and the Eagles, he threw 11 touchdowns, no interceptions, a combined, I want to say 900. Might have actually hit 1,000. So 346 and 265. Puts him at 601 plus 363. So it would put him at 964. So 964 yards.
I mean, that's
plus the team went on a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And their loss at the start of the season was a home game, 48-40 loss to Tampa, in which Drew Brees balled the fuck out.
Yeah.
82.2 completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 129.5 quarterback rating. That's literally like when we say the defense let Drew Brees down, and and whenever we make those jokes about how when Drew dies, they should get the defense together again to let him down, to be the pallbearers so they can let him down one more time. That's the kind of shit we're talking about.
Well, and
no, go ahead.
No, and I
got one more thing to point out.
We went into a couple more things, but like we went into 2018 like super excited. We thought the Saints were a Super Bowl team, and the defense, like for the first 4 or 5 weeks, we were like, oh my God, the terrible defense is back. We just got Fitz magicked in a home opener. They only beat Cleveland because Cleveland's kicker missed like 5 field goals. They had to go to Atlanta. That's the game where Drew Brees does the spinorama, right?
Again, you've managed to bogart into my thing, but that's fine.
Continue, but
you literally said it like that. Like it falls into the Drew Brees highlight of. Like that is a top, Mount Rushmore, top 3, top 5, whatever you want to say, however you want to term it. That is a top whatever Drew Brees moment, whether you want to include the Super Bowl or not, of him rolling out and somehow at his old ass, not exactly fleet of foot, not exactly Josh Allen, juking spinning 2 Atlanta players out of their damn socks and somehow getting in. I mean, I think that moment is probably when fans were like, okay, that felt like a turning point for the season because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we're 2-1 now. We shook off the rust from the we shook off whatever from the home opener.
Mm-hmm.
We did this on the road to Atlanta. I feel comfortable.
Yeah, didn't and he broke the in 2018 he broke the passing yards record where
Yeah,
they just ripped the Redskins to shreds. And the other thing about that season that was really interesting was it really was the first time where like you started to see like the physical decline of Drew. But the thing that was this was the thing, one of the things that made Drew Brees special, Kevin, is, and I don't know if I'm stealing this from you as well.
no,
But the thing that made him special was other quarterbacks, as their physical skills would decline, Favre, Rodgers, whoever you want to point to, they didn't accept it. They would be like, I'm Brett Favre. I can still put the ball where I want it.
yeah.
Drew Brees in 2018 was kind of like, oh, okay, I can't do some of the things I used to do anymore. It's fine. I've finally got a good defense in the middle of the year. I'll just sort of guide the ship, but when they need me, I'll still be Drew. I don't have to put the Superman. I don't have to go into the booth every week to be Superman. But guess what? If you need me to be Superman, I'll still be Superman. So like, I get it with 2018. Like, you know.
So yeah, and I'll do that. So you mentioned in the 2010 season how, or I think you said it, and then I mentioned, and then I went back to it, how it's the two different the two different Drews.
Mm-hmm.
The New York Giants game, and again, these are both wins. The Giants game, Drew goes 18 of 32 for 217 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, 56.3 completion percentage, 6.8 yards per attempt, 77.2 quarterback rating. That's on the road. The next week, at home against Washington, when he hit that record, 26 of 29, 89.7 completion percentage, 363 yards, 3 TDs, no picks, 12.5 yards per attempt, 153.2 quarterback rating. When this fucking guy was locked in, even when he was on decline,
Mm-hmm.
this guy was on Mount Olympus alone.
Yeah.
In decline. In decline. Go look at the 2020 year. Go like seriously, like whoever's listening, go look at the 2020 year. That guy still had gems, even though his body and his arm were just giving out.
Yeah, and the thing about Drew Brees, and I'll use this example. Stephen Ruiz of the Ringer, I think it is. He rated every quarterback performance like the last 25 years, winners, losers, whatever. And Drew Brees was ranked 9th, and he just said it. He was like, it's incredibly efficient. It's top 5 EPA per play. All of the advanced metrics, like Drew Brees versus the Colts, especially in the second half. I want to say he had 2 incompletions, and one of them was an intentional clock stoppage. Like he was just from like the end of the second quarter through the end of the game. Like Drew Brees was basically perfect in that Super Bowl. And Stephen Ruiz is one of the things he made was he was awesome, but like there's no spectacular YouTube play to show you. Like there's nothing spectacular about it. And I think that's one of the things that hurts Drew Brees in fans' minds and in the way we culture. Like everything's got to be a YouTube short and it's got to be like a spectacular play. Where Drew Brees, like he just wasn't spectacular. He's just like, oh, we're just gonna run this slant, or we're just gonna run this post, and it's gonna be an 18-yard pass. I'm just gonna do it perfect every single time. And it's not spectacular because I didn't have to avoid 6 guys. I didn't have to run backwards and throw it off my back foot. No. I'm just going to do perfect form of throwing the ball every single time. It's almost like, I don't know the description of it. It's like watching a golfer hit like a perfect 8-iron. Like it's cool at first, but after a while, you're like, well, yeah, he's just hitting a perfect 8-iron. He did it 150 times in a row, and you don't think he just did perfect 150 times in a row. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna have something added there. I'm trying to I want to go back and see if I can find something here. So if they would have done that in the 2020, you know what? I'm gonna change my answer
Here we go.
from the mailbag, which I know is a completely different podcast, but the question was if you could change one regular season
Game.
Game, what would it be? The 2020 season at home against Green Bay, they lost 30-37.
Ooh.
If they win that game, they go to 13-3. Green Bay is at 12-4. The Saints are the ones with home field advantage. I mean, they would have had home field advantage anyway, but they would have had home field, and they would not have gotten the Bucks
Ooh.
in the. They would not have gotten the Bucks in the divisional round. No, they would have had. They would have gotten the bye, so they would have gotten the Rams in the divisional round
With no quarterback.
with no quarterback.
Yeah.
So, there could have been revenge from 2018 in that.
That would have been. Of
So
course.
you're looking at so you're looking at the NFC Championship game
Saints Bucks
of either the Saints and Bucks or the Saints and either Tampa or Green Bay in the dome.
I'll tell you one thing.
In the NFC Championship game.
That's a great answer. I can't believe we didn't think of it for the mailbag. The funny thing that the Saints playing the Rams in the 2020 playoffs for revenge, but the Superdome is freaking empty because of COVID, and we can't really enjoy it like we would want. That would have been the most Saints thing ever. We pound the Rams, we drop kick them in the face, and the dome has like 7 people in it. That'd have been
right.
Been
and four of them are janitors.
That's right. That would have been the most Saints thing ever. But back to Drew to put a bow on it.
Yeah.
Like, this was a fun exercise for me because it brings back all these memories. And I can't, as a Saints fan, it's hard to put into words what Drew meant for the Saints. And I believe you can make an argument that he saved the Saints, because without Drew Brees, I don't know if the Saints are winning starting in 2006 as much as they did, obviously. And listen, if they would have had, they came back in 2006, Tagliabue didn't let them leave, and that was credit to him. But I don't know, like if the Saints would have had, like, if they would have gone like in 2006, if they'd have gone like, 4-12, 4-12, 5-11, 5-11. I don't know, like if there would have been enough support to keep him here, because Benson was itching to leave, and I don't know how steadfast Tagliabue would have been year after year if the Saints were losing and people weren't going. So I mean, there's an argument to be made that Drew saved the Saints, and for me, Kevin, the experience of having the guy at quarterback, where no matter what was happening with the Saints, the defense, the injuries, whatever, the feeling every Sunday that we have Drew and he can single-handedly win us the game no matter who we are playing, was a feeling that I never had before as a Saints fan. And it was just the most incredible experience to have. And you dreamed about it watching these other teams of our youth, right? With Joe Montana and whoever, these great quarterbacks. And you always like, I wonder how that feels. And I wonder if it's as good as I think it is. It was so much better
Yeah.
It was the most incredible sports fan feeling I've had that lasted, right? Championships, it's moments, it's great, these great single moments, but just the feeling of like, we got Drew, we can win today was just the most incredible feeling. And you had it for 15 years.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. That's a pretty good summation. That's a great summation of things.
So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. As always, leave a comment on YouTube, like us, subscribe to us, and go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Support the show. For Kevin, who just covered up his camera. For Thomas, I'm Ralph. Until next time, the bar is closed.